Welcome back to our awards edition of Cahaley's Game Day Breakdown. I'm Josh Runyon, joined as always by Craig Cahaley. And Craig, this week we finally get to announce our all Cahaley's team. We've been talking about this all year. Guys have been making some moves. We've got some MVPs. And later on we're going to announce our all Cahaley's awards team. Craig, first of all, let's talk and announce our inaugural second team, all Cahaley's team. Craig, who makes our team?
Josh, our second team are guys that have worked really hard, really hard, and have been consistent all year. You know, we got to have some in second place and some in first place. So this year, our second team, all Cahaley's team, goes to the following 5 guys: Nate Burleson, Phil Sims, Michael Strahan, Brian Jones, and Brady Quinn.
Congratulations, guys. Craig, let's talk about those second team guys. Tell me about Nate Burleson. What gets him on our second team here?
Nate Burleson just did such a good job of putting together what he grabbed out of his closet. And sometimes he looked like he just did a grab and go, but he always put it together good, and he did something that I love. He wore stripes a good bit, and I'm a big stripe guy.
Now, I'm a big sport coat guy, and I love Phil Sims wore a lot of great-looking sport coats, and he went with the weather. When it was warm, a little bit more color. As it got later in the season, a lot of flannels, a lot of wool. So I like what Phil Sims had on there. What about Michael Strahan?
Michael Strahan pulled in something that you and I talk about a lot, is really important and I think is undervalued, and that is a vest. He wore a vest a lot of times. You know, we do a lot of vests for guys. I personally have a lot of vests, and I think Strahan's a big dude. And he pulled off a vest, and most of his vests had lapels on them, which I think upped his game a little bit. Michael did a really good job this year.
Yeah, like I've mentioned before, I got kind of confused on his shirt choice and how he kind of put some horizontal stripes together. I think that's why he may have dropped down to second team. And we also had a lot of discussion, a lot of debate about Brian Jones. You loved it. I was so on some of his outfits, but tell me about Brian Jones.
Brian Jones just did a good job of whatever he wore. In the box, out the box, it didn't matter. He put it together right. And I think that's a big part of the game, is to be able to play to your competition and to be able to, whatever you do it right. And he did it right. I like Brian Jones all year.
And then Brady Quinn, coming as a walk-on, making his way all the way up to our second team, came out of nowhere, made a late push, made it to our second team. Tell me about Brady's outfit.
Yeah, our quarterback, Brady Quinn, did a good job. Brady, we gave him a little bit of heck one week for his sequin tie, but Brady was very classic. You know, I think the last couple of weeks he maybe wore a maroon cashmere coat or something, which really upped his game toward the end of the year. I thought Brady always looked great, and I'm proud of Brady Quinn.
All right, Craig, it's that time. It's time to announce our inaugural first team, all Cahaley's team. Craig, who makes our team?
First team is a big deal, Josh. These are the most coveted positions to have, and we got 5 of them. So our first one is Kurt Herbstreit, our boy. He was a preseason first team, all Cahaley's team, and lived up to his expectations. Next is Reese Davis. Reese did a good job. Randy Moss. Then we got Desmond Howard. And then we have Reggie Bush. Got some good running backs in there.
Yeah, and it's no question that we've got, was it 2 or 3 players on our number 1 team of ESPN College Game Day making our first team all Cahaley's team.
Yep.
There's no question why they're number 1. Tell me about Herbie.
Herbie did a good job. The only issue I had with Herbie all year was a little bit of the pastel colors. Granted, they always looked great though, and that's what we had to go back and look at. It was a little off season, but it always looked great. So you can't take away points. He just missed the season a couple times, but his outfits were great.
And then Reggie Bush from Fox made our first team this year. Craig, tell me about Reggie.
Reggie looked good, just like in his playing days, Josh. He might have been the best looking running back when he would run, and he knew how to dress. He went from top coats, he went from cashmere sport coats to sweaters with ties. Reggie did a really good job. Really impressed with him all year.
Now, Randy Moss got a ton of playing time between Sunday NFL Countdown and also Monday Night Football. So we got a ton of playing time, a lot of exposure. Tell me about Randy making our first team.
Randy Moss is, you know, I can't say it any other words, but he is just the exemplary dresser. He knows what to do and how to put it together. I mean, he was a shoe-in almost from week 1.
And our third member of the ESPN Game Day crew making our first team, Reese Davis.
Reese Davis is classic. He looked great all year long. He never missed a step. We had the 1 week with the gray and the brown that you and I even disagreed on a little bit, but he still looked really good.
And, of course, making that first team, Desmond Howard.
Desmond's the man. I've said it all year. Desmond went with something different every week, which I thought was impressive. And as I've said before, I'd love to see inside of his closet because I bet he's got some serious outfits in there. Desmond did an awesome job all year.
All right, guys, good job making our first team. It's now to announce our Cahaley's Award winners. Coming up, our first award is our Most Improved. Craig, who comes away with our Most Improved Dresser of the Year?
Most Improved Dresser is somebody that you and I watched grow all year, and we were very impressed with, and that goes to David Pollock of ESPN Gameday. Pollock did a great job. From the beginning of the year, we weren't sure he was even going to make anything.
Right.
And he did a wonderful job. I think some of his teammates lifted him up and helped him out a little bit.
I think it was week 6. You and I challenged him that if he couldn't find another suit, we'd be glad to help him out. And after that,
That's right. Yep.
I think he found something and came a long way. Our next award is our Coach's Award. We always have that guy who's kind of like a coach on the field who leads and guides and shows our guys what to do when they're struggling. Craig, who wins our Coach's Award?
This award, I have always said, is, I think, one of the most prestigious awards, and people don't really give it enough credit. But Reese Davis is the man. Reese Davis is a guy we can roll out there. We don't have to tell him anything. We don't have to watch him, and he's got it. Always very consistent, does what the coaches ask him to do, and always helps his team.
That's right. Our next award is the Rookie of the Year. We had a newcomer come along and really got a lot of playing time and showed a lot of promise moving forward. Craig, who wins our Rookie of the Year?
Josh, as we said earlier, there wasn't a ton of rookies as you and I were looking back. There wasn't a ton of rookies coming in the league this year, but the one that stood out the most was Eric McLean of the ACC Network. Eric looked great. To be a rookie, to come in, really lifted his team, and he did what I've said throughout the season. He proved that big guys can wear checks. Great job, Eric McLean, Rookie of the Year.
And then we have our Out of the Box Award, our Fashion Forward Award. And Craig, you and I had a lot of debate about this. Burleson could have been in that group. Strahan could have been in that group. Reggie Bush could have been in that group. But ultimately, we decided on who, Craig? Who wins our Out of the Box Fashion Forward Award?
Our Fashion Forward Award goes to somebody who I really enjoyed watching dressing and was curious every week how he was going to perform, and that goes to Brian Jones. He's gone from camouflage to velvet to polka dot. He's done everything, but every time he went out of that box, he put it together with a strong performance. Brian Jones, great job.
And it always fit. No matter what he had,
That's
no matter
right. Yep.
if he went from plaids, like we said, to polka dots to camouflage, it always fit really well. And I think that's an overestimated, an overlooked part of the game. Is not only what patterns can you put together, but how does it fit you?
How does it fit you? Yep, good job.
And our MVP award, our most valuable. You and I had a lot of debate, a lot of discussion about this. How do you define valuable? Is it the most valuable to their team or the best player overall? We went back and forth all on this, and we landed on who, Craig? Who wins our MVP award?
Well, we landed on, and I think this is a common discussion with a lot of MVPs. Is it the most valuable player to your team or the most valuable player? So what we decided, you and I decided, was the most valuable player to their team.
Right, not necessarily the best player overall.
That's right.
But most valuable to their team.
Most valuable player to their team was no doubt Randy Moss.
Right.
Randy, every week, if his team had a down week, he kept it up.
Right.
He always kept the performance up. Great job, Randy Moss, our MVP this year.
Good job, Randy, winning our MVP. And unfortunately, we have to do this. Each week, we unveil a You Can't Wear That. And we had to go back and look over the series of the year, who won it the most times. And if you've been tracking us, you probably know where we're going with this. Craig, who wins our You Can't Wear That award?
Josh, it was always my favorite part of the show, but sometimes my most disturbing part. This year's ultimate You Can't Wear That is Paul Feinbaum. Feinbaum wore a blue pinstripe suit 9 weeks in a row. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
9 weeks in a row. I don't know if he just doesn't have anything else or he's not paying attention, but he gets the year end You Can't Wear That.
Yeah, we need some more leadership from the SEC Nation. Spears normally looks good.
Absolutely. Tebow looks good. And
Marty Smith normally looks good. You guys help Feinbaum out. Find him something else to wear, please. Guys, make sure you join us next week. We're going to have our bowl championship breakdown of our different bowl games. 2 weeks from now, we'll announce our most coveted award, the Cahaley's Heisman Award. Make sure you like us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, as well as our website, CahaleysCustomClothing.com. And we'll be back next week with another Cahaley's Game Day Breakdown.